Chelsea fans, welcome back to Talking Chelsea. Welcome back to your Chelsea news. Christopher Nkunku is picking up some interest. Renato Veiga to Atletico Madrid is now on hold. We have some updates regarding Carney Chukwuemeka, where he may end up in this summer transfer window. Xavi Simons to Chelsea is this close to being done, and Jorrel Hato to Chelsea could be done for as little as £34 million. Now, of course, I begin my own thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported, but more importantly, I want to know what you guys think down below in the comments. And before we get into the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content. We're on the road to 10k before the end of 2025. Matt Law has reported the Club World Cup has been good for Christopher Nkunku's market, and I'm told he has interest from a number of teams in Italy and obviously Bayern too. Forest has made an inquiry and Newcastle has made an inquiry. There's lots of interest there now, and I suspect it's more than likely he goes abroad. Now, this is very interesting. We know the writing's on the wall for Christopher Nkunku. We know that Chelsea are looking to offload him this summer. We know that Bayern are the main suitors that have been hovering around since January to kind of snap him up and bring him back to the Bundesliga. But it's also nice to know that he's got a lot of options in terms of clubs that are interested in him. A lot of the Italian clubs, which I personally feel won't have the money to pay Chelsea's asking price of £43.3 million. I'm also going to go out on a whim and say that Chelsea are not willing to lower that, because that's a £25 million devaluation of Nkunku to get him out this summer window. Now, I did say, across the last week, obviously the Club World Cup, us winning it, becoming world champions, that Nkunku's played very well in that tournament, and he's played a lot better in sort of the last few games of the season in the run-up to the Club World Cup. And it was kind of like a confusing thing of like, does Nkunku want to stay and fight for his place? Is it finally clicked for him in an Enzo Maresca system? Is he getting on with Enzo Maresca a lot more behind the scenes? We heard stories from Enzo Maresca saying that in training, he's been playing Nkunku as a defensive midfielder to try and build his character and get him to, do a bit more around the pitch. He's now starting to press a lot more, doing a bit more of the defensive attributes. And he's just playing a lot better than what he has been during the first 3 quarters of the season under Enzo Maresca. So there were a lot of signs there to suggest that Chelsea were happy to keep Nkunku. He could be that versatile attacker that could play as a 10, play off the left, play off the right, play as a false 9 in an Enzo Maresca system. We just weren't getting the performances from him. And it looked like we were starting to see the incline of his performances coming back. Still nowhere near what we expect from Nkunku, but a lot better than what we had seen in the first 3 quarters of the season, right? So there was this question mark around with, Chelsea want to offload him, but it looks like he's trying to fight for his place. He looks pretty settled, and he could be a key part of Chelsea's squad going forward next year. That's obviously not true. It was the second option of that he's playing really well to try and up his market value. Not necessarily the market value, but the interest of clubs that now want him. Now, the ones that do surprise me here is Forest and Newcastle. Because as far as I'm concerned, they're happy to spend money. Premier League money as well. £43 million for someone like Christopher Nkunku in a Premier League move. In today's market, and the way that this window's gone, is an absolute bargain. When you've got Alanga, Noni Madueke, Cunha, and Mbeumo, all going for mental money for, in terms of player value, right? Mbeumo for 70 million is wild to me. But that's just the market. They demand, the market demands the price, as you guys keep telling me. And I agree. 43.3 million for Christopher Nkunku to a Premier League team would be an absolute bargain, in my opinion. Now, would I like to see him go to a Premier League team? No, I wouldn't. I would like to see him go abroad, because there's no way of him coming around to bite us in the bum. Now, Bayern, will they pay the money? 43 million, let's just say it's 50 million euros, give or take, right? With add-ons, without add-ons, whatever. Will Bayern Munich come and snap him up for 50 million euros? I hope so. I feel like that's a more than fair price that Chelsea are asking for. We're not trying to inflate it and say we want 80, 90 million like we were saying in January to kind of push Bayern Munich away. They've still kept their interest. I think 50 million, they can come in and get that deal done. The one, like I said, in Italy, I don't think the Italian team's really going to have the intent or the fire or like the money power to actually go buy Nkunku. So it'd be very interesting to see how this plays out. There could be more twists and turns in this window, as Chelsea are being very aggressive in the market. Things are going very, very quickly, and we're seeing players, putting up for sale, in negotiations happening on the outgoings as well as the ingoings at the same time. João Felix is on the verge of moving back to Benfica. There's still some talks there. Nkunku's back on the market in terms of we're taking inquiries for him. He's got a lot of options in that sense. Carney Chukwuemeka, who we're going to speak about later on in the video. Sorry, Chukwuemeka. I can never pronounce his name right. I apologise. I'm not good at that. I try and learn players' names. So thank you for letting me know in the comments. I really do appreciate it, and I do try. I'm not being ignorant, I promise. But essentially, Chelsea being very aggressive in the market. Now, I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions down below regarding Nkunku, because I feel like in the last few videos we spoke about Nkunku, there seems to be a split with the community, with Chelsea fans, whether you would keep him for next season, and people that would sell him, right? And that's fair enough. That's just football. We all have an opinion. But in terms of the selling side, would you rather him go to a Premier League club so we can guarantee the money for him? Or would you rather him go to someone like Bayern Munich or an Italian club where potentially we get similar money in the Bundesliga, but a little bit less in the Italian league? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Do you feel like he can fight for his place back and basically say, I don't want to move? Or is he gone? Matt Moretto and the Atleti universe have reported that Renato Veiga to Atletico Madrid is now on hold. Fabrizio Romano has reported that Atletico Madrid are pushing ahead with the signing of Hanko as a financial package is cheaper than what Chelsea requests for Veiga. Chelsea insist on a £35 million package. And Luca Benedoni has reported that Atletico Madrid had an offer in for Renato Veiga, but Chelsea's rigid approach in talks led to the club to go all in on David Hanko. Atletico quickly reached an agreement with Feyenoord and with the player. Now, I find this very interesting, because again, Renato Veiga, the writing's on the wall in terms of his Chelsea future. He is going in this summer window, and it looked like he was going to Atletico Madrid. It was pretty much a done deal. It was just Chelsea wanting £35 million, which I think works out about 40 million euros, and Atletico trying to be a bit like, actually, we don't want to pay that. We're thinking more around 35 million euros. Which is, a little bit of a lesser price, right? And that's fair. That's what happens with negotiations. The whole point, right? You go back and forth until you come to a mutual agreement. The fact that it's on hold because of Chelsea's rigid approach, it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. Like, as much as the window's going very well for us in terms of the buying side, and the selling side seems to be ticking along, and I feel like there's going to be an influx of players that are sold all at once, right? Your Sterling's, your Nkunku's, your Felix's, that type of players. And we've done well with like your Caleb Wiley's and things like loan moves that have been done, and even some permanence in that sense. But it doesn't surprise me with the rigid talks, because Chelsea don't... I think we overlook as fans when things are going well that historically under this ownership through the transfer windows, they've not been great at negotiating. They've either overpaid for players or they've lost out on deals because they've gone in too hard and they're not willing to kind of have any wiggle room on that. And it seems like that's what's happening with Atletico here with Renato Veiga, which is a shame. It's a shame, because realistically, if you said to Atletico, we do it for 35 million euros, that's still 30 million pounds, and that's double what Renato Veiga was bought for, or even more, because I think Renato Veiga was bought for like a flat 10 plus 4 in add-ons, performance-based add-ons. So I don't think we paid that, right? So you're looking at nearly twice, 3 times the amount that he was bought for a season ago. So there is definitely room for Chelsea to lower their asking price and still make a lot of profit on him. So it'll be very interesting to see how this plays out. Obviously, Atletico have gone full steam ahead with David Hanko. I think that's how you pronounce his name. So obviously that's going to be signed. Whether or not that affects the Renato Veiga deal or not is soon to be seen. Because we don't really have any other suitors that are as keen and lined up as Atletico Madrid were. Yes, he's got other suitors that are very happy to explore that market. But it'll be very interesting to see what Chelsea do in terms of that overall price. If they stick firm, look, it's fair play to them. If they dig their heels in and they say no to all these clubs, and one club comes in and goes, we'll just pay the price, fair enough. Fair enough. You've got your money, they've got their man, everyone's happy. But if it gets to the point where you're like, we really want to cash in on the profit, maybe we're being too greedy on the margin of the profit. We can reduce it a little bit and still be quids in, and send him to a club that makes sense and where the player also wants to go. Because Renato Veiga has been pushing for this move. He was like, personal terms, yeah, whatever, done. Don't worry about it, done. I want to go to Atletico. Again, I said in previous videos, I think he'd be a perfect player in a Simeone system. He'd be awesome. He's in. I'm sad to see him go, really, because if there was a world where he could play at Chelsea, he can help plug a massive hole in our defence that can play centre-back and left-back and as a DM if needed. Now, we are pretty stacked in the midfield side of things with the likes of Sugo and Santos and Lavia and obviously Caicedo and Enzo. And even KDH can do a job if needed, right? Even though he's been linked with a move away. But what I'm saying is in that left-back position, we have no cover for Cucurella. Obviously, we're going to talk about Jorrel Hato a little bit later in the video, so make sure you keep watching. But Veiga would be a perfect case of, he can do the job. The problem is Veiga doesn't want to play left back. He wants to play a centre back. And that's where the kind of friction is. So these clubs that are buying him know that they're getting a centre back, not a left back. And I think that's very important for the player, which is why he's pushed for the move away. And I think it's also very important for Chelsea because they're like, okay, cool. Not part of the plans that were originally sold to you. That's fine. Things change. We just want to make as much money as possible. And he's a good enough player to do so. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens with him now. Will he go to Atletico still? I'm not too sure. But they may resume talks if Chelsea reduce their asking price maybe. Or Chelsea might be like, okay, cool, the door's shut, we move on. What other clubs are lining up to sign Renato Veiga? Now, I'm not saying they're going to have clubs falling head over heels for him. But there will be a lot of clubs that are interested for sure. Because age, talent, his profile, yeah, every team wants a Renato Veiga in their team. So it makes a lot of sense. But I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions down below. Do you feel like this deal is over? Or do you feel like the deal will actually go ahead and Atletico will get their man, Chelsea will get their profit, but it might be at a reduced amount of money? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments. Mike McGrath has reported that Carney Chukwuemeka is prioritising a return to Borussia Dortmund over other summer options. Matt Law has reported that I'm told that RB Leipzig actually asked about 3 Chelsea players. I'm not told who the other 2 are, but they asked about 3 Chelsea players. It might not be Carney. It might be Carney who ends up going the other way. So the whole Carney situation, again, is very interesting to me because, again, writing on the wall, he's leaving Chelsea this summer. He wants to go to Dortmund. He was on loan last year. He really enjoyed his time there. Chelsea want 40 million. Dortmund won't want to pay it. So he might be, as a player, Carney, he might be prioritising move over Dortmund. Cool, you can prioritise whatever you want. But if Dortmund don't get their checkbook out, unfortunately, you're not going there. Because I don't think Chelsea are willing. They even said loan options are not, it's not a problem. Like, it's not an option this summer. It's, we want our money. You've had your try before you buy. We want our money if you want our player. And I think that is more than fair enough, if I'm being honest. Now, the interesting thing is RB Leipzig want Carney. And I think it would be an unbelievably perfect swap deal. If we go get Xavi Simons, they want to get Carney, like-for-like replacement in terms of positional play. Obviously not in ability, in my opinion. You know, there's a big disparity there, just from my thoughts. But Leipzig have got a quality player who is young, who's still developing, who's had game time at the highest level, still stays in the same league, played Champions League football. You know, we know that Carney's going to go on and develop to be a really, really good player. And it's a shame he's not going to do that at Chelsea, right? So it's going to be very interesting to see if the links with Leipzig wanting Carney in response to Chelsea buying Xavi Simons it's just going to be very interesting. Will Dortmund then go, actually, we do really want him. We don't want to lose out on him on a permanent deal because we just don't want to pay the money. You know, whether they have the money or not, we've literally given them over 50 million this summer for Jamie Gittins. So we know that there's some money there at least. So it's whether or not they want to spend it. I don't know too much about Dortmund's financials, if I'm being honest. So I don't know whether they've got that sort of money for the transfer window or not. But I feel like there could potentially be a bit of a bidding war for Carney's signature because he obviously wants that move to Dortmund. The other interesting thing that Matt Law said is there's 2 other Chelsea players that Leipzig were asking about. And I'm very curious to know who they may be. Because again, Chelsea have been very firm in stating who is for sale, who is for loan, and who is not for either. Like who is staying at Chelsea. So if Leipzig are asking about those 2 other players, I'm assuming it's going to be on a sale basis. So, I don't know. Could it be the likes of Nkunku on a return to Leipzig? Could be. Could it be... that would also be a very good deal for Leipzig. That's obviously where we bought him from. But, you know, an older player, got the experience there. Obviously, he's got the connection with the fans and the club there as well. That would be really good. Chelsea want 43.3 million. Looks like we're going to be signing Xavi Simons for a similar-ish, maybe a little bit more. Looks very like-for-like in terms of financially, so that could be an option on these other 2 players. But regarding Carney, I don't know where he's going to end up. I feel like he could be the make-weight in this Xavi Simons deal. I think it makes a lot of sense for both clubs. And then Dortmund are kind of... we know that they want him. They just won't pay the money. So I'm getting to the point where I'm a bit like, whatever, Dortmund. Do you know what I mean? If you want the player, get the checkbook out, pay the money. You know what we're asking. You know we're not going to move on it. You've had him on loan. You like the player. Make a choice. You've had your free trial. Do you know what I mean? Do you want it or not? We ain't fussed either way because there's going to be other clubs that are interested in Carney Chukwuemeka. So let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Where do you think that Carney will end up? Do you think he will go to Dortmund and Dortmund will get their checkbook out? Do you feel like he will go to RB Leipzig as like a make-weight? And who do you think these other Chelsea players are that RB Leipzig have inquired about? Do you think it might be a Felix and Nkunku, someone completely left field from those options? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. The Secret Source has reported the front of shirt sponsor talks for Chelsea include major names like Qatar Airways, Emirates, and the new Saudi Airlines. Chelsea are aiming for the best possible deal financially and are in no rush to finalise. Worth noting, other huge names are also in the mix. Now, this is very interesting. It's going to be a relatively quick update regarding the front of shirt sponsor. We know that Chelsea are now in a very powerful position of being world champions. We'll never get bored of saying that, world champions. We're world champions. We want a front shirt sponsor on a long-term deal. These companies are going to be chucking money at Chelsea, and we can now sit and wait and go, what is the best deal? Very interesting. The last time we spoke about front shirt sponsor, we talked about the money that Chelsea are looking for, how much it could be potentially worth, which is an incredible amount of money that we've not had for the last, since the ownership, really. We had Infinite Athlete, but it's been a few years of like a proper shirt sponsor. They've always been temporary. We had Damac for like 6 games, 7 games. But it's also interesting to know who actually wants to be the sponsor. Qatar Airways, Emirates, and the new Saudi Airlines. Now, it says that obviously there's other huge names in the mix. One of the names suspected was like Apple and some other tech firms, which I find very interesting. It's very rare you see likes of Apple sponsoring anyone, but hey, that'd be dope. Out of those airlines, one, how much do you think that they're willing to pay? Two, who do you think looks best on a Chelsea shirt? Because the nostalgia in me says, get the Emirates back. Could you imagine our new Chelsea kit with all these new signings, the way that things are clicking, with the Fly Emirates across as the front shirt sponsor, especially with our leaked third choice kit with the old school 0405 style, badge in the centre, the black with the silver trim, Fly Emirates across the front. Oh, bring me back, take me back. That is who I would love to see. I think that'd be amazing, right? However, the Qatar Airways sort of mock-ups that people have been putting online look clean. And the Saudi Airlines, I've not really heard too much about it, but it would be very interesting to know. This secret source, I've been told by many people, when he speaks, we shush and we listen, because this guy seems to be ahead of the curve. So I don't know how reliable this is. I just want to get your thoughts and opinions and give you a little bit of an update on the front of shirt sponsor side of things. Looks like a lot of airlines are going to be chucking a lot of money Chelsea's way. You know, what happened to the Air Jordan deal? Obviously, we've got our kits set for next season anyway, so I don't think it would be an immediate thing, you know, regardless. But the collaboration was always dependent on Champions League qualification, which we then did, then won the Conference League, then won the Club World Cup. That's kind of gone quiet. Are they one of the sponsors that are trying to have negotiations with Chelsea for future products? Who knows? Who are these other huge names that are in the mix other than the likes of Apple, etc.? So I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions down below regarding the front of shirt sponsor. Out of those ones there, Qatar Airways, Emirates, and the new Saudi Airlines, who would your choice be, and how much do you think they're going to pay? Is it going to be a 4-year deal for the entire term of us being world champions? Is it going to be one of them silly ones that we did with like Samsung where it's like 10-year deal? Because that was iconic, right? I would personally like to see Fly Emirates back on the front of our shirt with everything lining up to kind of be like a 20-year revamp of what happened, which would be amazing to see. But I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions down below regarding this front of shirt sponsor. Will this be sorted soon? And who is your favourite out of that pick? Fabrizio Romano has reported that Chelsea and RB Leipzig continue direct club-to-club talks for Xavi Simons' deal. Leipzig are aware of Xavi being very keen on a move and tempted by Chelsea. Bayern have also made calls to be informed this week, but Chelsea are clear favourites, already in talks and with the players' green light. Philip Hines, Sky Sports and Plettigal have also reported that Leipzig's asking price for Xavi Simons remains unchanged, 70 million euros all in, including add-ons. They consider this a fair and reasonable package. Bayern Munich have gathered information from the player side. Chelsea and Leipzig are indeed in contact, but as of this morning, no official offer has been submitted. Xavi was also training normally and without restrictions with Leipzig's squad this morning. He remains a full part of the training camp. This is so close to being done, and honestly, the more that this goes on, the more excited us fans get. More excited I've definitely been getting. The more I've been watching Xavi Simons, the more I've been thinking about how we can improve this squad, how much he is a bar raiser in terms of the adaptability and the versatility of this player in an Enzo Maresca system, what he can offer. Honestly, Chelsea are cooking in this window. If we can secure Jorrel Hato, which we'll speak about in a second, and Xavi Simons, my God, what a window. What a window. Going double Dutch, as people keep saying. Now, look, apparently there is no official bid. Fair. Leipzig wants 70 million euros all in. I don't think Chelsea are going to pay anywhere near that, if I'm being honest, because reportedly we were looking at around 60 million euros as that first offer, which they were happy with because it works out about 56 million pounds, which is more than what Leipzig paid in the winter. I don't see Chelsea paying anywhere near 70 million all in. I could be wrong. Happy to be proven wrong because I still think it's worth it for a player like Simons, if I'm being brutally honest. But this is so close to being done. Xavi Simons grew up being a Chelsea fan. He's spoke about how much he liked Chelsea growing up. He agreed personal terms instantly. He was like, "Yep, cool, done. Just talk to the club, get it sorted. I want the project. I'm buying into the project." This is pretty much a done deal. We are eagerly awaiting the here we go, the David Ornstein bomber. We're waiting for that official announcement. And I have a feeling, I said in yesterday's video, I feel like this will be done by Friday. That's where I'm predicting it's done by Friday. I'm just excited. I wanted to give you guys an update on kind of where we are because we are literally on the edge of our seats waiting for that. Here we go. Do you know what I mean? We're waiting for it to be officially announced. I feel like it will be done by Friday. I'm also very curious to know what you guys think about the all-round pricing because Leipzig are saying, look, they haven't changed their mind. It's 70 million euros all in. And I don't think Chelsea are going to pay that. Anywhere near that. Like I said, I feel like we'll pay probably close to 60 million, if not 60 million euros all in, which will still give them profit on what they paid. Because I think they paid in total like 50 million euros or close to 50 million pounds in the winter for Xavi. And they want to make a profit. I get it. He's only been there 6 months. Which is wild, by the way. This is a bit of a conspiracy theory, but Xavi Simons could potentially go on to be the next João Felix of bouncing around Europe with PSG and Leipzig and Chelsea. And obviously, I hope not. I hope he stays at Chelsea for a long time and becomes a very, very good player for us. And I feel like he can go on and do that for sure. But I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions in terms of the price tag of Xavi Simons. When do you predict this deal is getting done? Is it getting done? There's a lot of angles to this. Will Chelsea play anywhere near 70 million euros, or do you think it'll be more like 55, 60 million euros? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Fabrizio Romano has reported that Chelsea have reached an agreement on personal terms with Jorrel Hato, and the defender has asked to leave Ajax. Negotiations are advancing, and a fee for around £34 million is discussed. He goes on to say on TikTok that Jorrel Hato could be a here we go very soon. He asked Ajax to join Chelsea. He wants the Chelsea project as soon as possible. Xavi Simons also close to Chelsea. Conversations underway with the player. He then continues his report by saying Chelsea want a new defender as soon as possible, and the player will be Jorrel Hato. Long-term contract and wages have been agreed. Chelsea want to do business around £34 million. The benchmark is Timber and Ajax in the past. The player wants to go. No, I absolutely love this. Again, it's another player who plugs a big, big hole in this squad in terms of Cucurella cover and as a centre-back. He can play both very well to a very high regard. He's so sought after across all the European top clubs. Arsenal were in for him. Bayern were looking around him. Lots of top clubs interested in Jorrel Hato. Man United were even inquiring about him. Chelsea going in and getting this done. Hato, again, signing off them personal terms. Yep, I want the project. Let me go. Ajax, I want to leave, bro. Let me do this transfer. Let's go. Get me on the nearest plane. The next plane, I want to go to Cobham. I absolutely love that when players are really pushing for a move, because it shows that they want to be playing for that club. That's a very, very good sign for fans to be able to buy into that as well. Now, what I find massively interesting is the price. £34 million for Jorrel Hato is an incredible deal. Incredible deal. That's like 40 million euros, right? Now, originally it was we were willing to pay 40 million pounds. That's a difference. 6 million less, of course, but 40 million pounds is close to what, 50 million euros. It's just all a bit skewed. And this window, I found out that all the reports are over euros, pounds, euros. It can be quite confusing, right? If you're not following. So I think if Chelsea are being very smart, which they are, and they're using Timber as a benchmark of what Arsenal played, including add-ons. And they're going, well, hang on a minute, Arsenal paid this for Timber. We want to use it as a benchmark. We want to go for similar sort of fees and add-ons like that. Ajax haven't really got a leg to stand on too much, and they have to kind of go, yeah, okay. Why not? Which means Chelsea have negotiated something unbelievable here. If we can get this over the line, which looks like it's very, very, very close to being done. Again, I predict it to even be done by Friday, or even today, Thursday, the day of recording. It'll either be late this evening or Friday for sure. Like, this is so on the cards. It's unbelievable. So for Chelsea to get this over the line for £34 million is unbelievable business. A youngster, a 19, he's captained his side. He's got international experience. He could play out on the left. He could play centrally. He's tall. He's physical. He's good on the ball. It's a perfect signing. Cucurella can finally get some rest. The centre-back rotation, we haven't got to worry as much. I still think Chelsea will probably go in and get another centre-back, because there's also question marks about our current centre-backs, whether they're staying or going, right? So I feel like that will still be an area that we kind of search for through the market for. But in terms of bringing in Hato, we've got a very, very strong up-and-coming sort of potential that everyone in Europe wants right now. We are honestly cooking. If we could secure Xavi Simons and Jorrel Hato, that changes so much going into next season. So much more confidence. Two unbelievable players. Again, Hato's still got to adapt and evolve, and I don't think he's going to be playing all the games in the world. Of course not. But knowing that he is there and he is going to get game time across the competitions, it's just exciting times to be a Chelsea fan. So I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions. Is this going to be done for £34 million? Is this good business from Chelsea? Have Chelsea used the right leverage by using Timber as a benchmark? Will this be announced today as Thursday, tomorrow as Friday? Or are you still on the fence and thinking that this will all fall through? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments. A secret source has also reported an update. Jorrel Hato and Xavi Simons deals are done, subject to medicals. Hato was £55 million package agreed, Simons around €60 million plus add-ons. Official announcements expected across the weekend from other outlets. Despite these signings, Chelsea will still look to bolster their attack in coming weeks once more outgoings commence. Now, I wanted to end this video on this, all right? Because like I said, I'm new on this secret sauce guy, right? I'm new on it. And so many people I spoke to are like, hey, when he speaks, we shush, we listen. Because he doesn't miss. His track record lines up. This makes a lot of sense. This isn't some wild conspiracy. He's usually bang on the money. And again, I'm leaving it up to you guys. I'm reacting to it. I'm sharing my opinions and asking for yours down below. Do we trust this guy? Have you guys seen a lot from Secret Source? I just wanted to leave this with you because he's basically put himself on the line saying, Hato and Simons are done, mate. The deals are done. Hato's £55 million. Simons for £60 million. Million euros for both of these. 55 million euros, 60 million euros. It's done. The announcements are going to happen at the weekend. Chelsea is still going in the market after these. They're just waiting for more outgoings. What a statement to be making. What a statement to be making. So if this is true, firstly, do you think this is true or do you think this is just waffle? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below about this. Because I just found this very interesting. I saw it and I was like, Going through other things that he's put about over recent windows, he's very rarely wrong. And I find it very surprising. It wouldn't surprise... Actually, I find it surprising in terms of the amounts, right? And someone being so confident. Being like, this has happened, this is when it's going to be announced, right? But it doesn't surprise me in terms of this is probably how things go. We know how the media works. They want to drum up as much interest for as long as possible, and then they release it. And again, we've all spoken about this, how these reports come out. Like, clubs don't even get to announce their players anymore. We know that they're signed. We're just waiting for the little social media post. Before, it was like we had really no idea, unless it was an ongoing saga across the transfer window. And then we'd have to wait for the club to announce it rather than Fabrizio or these other people. And I'm not dissing that. That's just how things have changed, right? I mean, I'm literally creating content around what these guys post and sharing my thoughts and opinions and asking for yours. But I'm very curious to know your thoughts about this. 55 million euro package for Hato seems to be a bit more. That works out about what, 42 million, 44 million pounds, which is a lot, actually a lot more along the lines of what Ajax originally asked for, and what Chelsea originally were willing to pay, and what, in between what Ajax were willing to let go for. They wanted 60, but they said 40 could be doable. Simons around 60 million pounds. I still think that's lower than that 70 that Leipzig have asked for. So, you know, we shall soon see. I predict that these signings will be announced Friday. But again, he's saying the weekend. He's saying the weekend. I want to know your thoughts and opinions down below. How true is this in a scale of 1 to 10? Do you feel that these deals would be done quicker or later? And what do you feel about the numbers that have been thrown around by a secret source here? Do you feel that they're fair numbers? Would you be happy if these were the official numbers that went through? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. And that's the latest Chelsea news. Let me know your thoughts on everything that's been reported down below in the comment section. I love having a conversation with you guys. And if you have watched this video all the way to the end, firstly, you're a real one, and I mean that. You are a real one. And secondly, there'll be a thumbnail appears on the screen. So if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content, make sure to click that thumbnail because you'll enjoy that video too.